Okay,
Anybody else?
ZBA, we are recording. We are live. You are good to go.
Thank you, Matt, and welcome to the February 8th work session of the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals meeting and we're going to get right into the work session. We don't have any decisions that we're going to make other than, determinations that will be. But we do have decisions regarding administrative applications and whatnot. I'm going to read the first one into the record. The first decision we have is Peter White at 229 Marine Boulevard, Amagansett, Suffolk, tax map number 300-175-6-12. And it is a request for a certificate of occupancy to close out the ZBA determination from 1995 and obtain an updated certificate of occupancy. Not all conditions have been met. Who's going to present this? I know, Tyler, is that you?
Yes, that's me. Sorry, I'm having some issues.
Thank you, Tyler.
So can you see the survey on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm having a little bit of issue here. So you're right. So the original determination for this was in 1995. It was extended last year. And it appears that most of the work has been completed. However, as part of the conditions for this permit was that the applicant either provide proof that the sanitary system was upgraded as was required in a 1986 determination, or that work be completed. And it does not appear that work has ever been done. So it's, in our opinion, not ready for a certificate of occupancy. They need to upgrade their sanitary system. And our suggestion is that they need to do that before they get a CO or a new building permit for anything on the property. And I guess that's why it's in front of you today. There's some issues on this one.
Thank you. I want to so let's reiterate. The determination was filed in 1995. What I'd like to do is read into the record the conditions of the determination at that point regarding the septic system. And it says, paragraph C would be, the applicants shall verify that a septic tank and new leaching pool were installed as required by this board in its determination regarding the subject property filed November 26, 1986. And I believe, Tyler, if I'm right, the NRSB code was 1984. Is that correct?
Correct. It's modern zoning, yes.
So this is 2 years after, and my point is, you can see how important septic systems were at that time. Verification shall take the form of Suffolk County Department of Health Services septic installation inspection report or equivalent proof, and the improvements so installed shall be depicted on the survey, which is submitted to obtain a certificate of occupancy for this project. Paragraph D, in the event that the applicant cannot demonstrate that a septic system improvements referred to in the preceding subparagraph were in fact installed, applicant shall improve his existing septic system, which would otherwise consist of only a single cesspool, by the addition of a septic tank and additional leaching ring, other than the supervision of the town sanitation inspector. The reason I'm reading that into the record, I think, and we should discuss this as a board, I think that this applicant at this point is subject to grading his septic system to a modern IA system, because I don't think the intent of the IA system law was intended to be retroactive to this time. I think it's retroactive to recent applications. So I think we should discuss that. Maybe Terry and Ed, if you want to go first, I want to, maybe what your feelings are.
Well, I was thinking that the same way, that I would think if he's got to put in a system today, he has to follow today's codes on it. Had he done what he did, he wouldn't have to, what he didn't do, then there wouldn't be an issue, I guess. But since he didn't, I think he has to follow today's rules.
And I just want to reiterate or talk about, that's right, I agree with you, but there is an open building permit, so building permits do if you will, grandfather in the laws of that time, the date of the building permit. But I think this is a special case. Ed, what's your thought?
Well, I'm in line with what Terry just had to say, because it strikes me that there's been plenty of opportunity for this system to have been taken care of. This is a long period of time, it's not a short period of time. And now that we've gone into this position we're in, I think that applying the current law makes a lot of sense on this one. I do wonder about the legality in terms of the building permit. You just pointed that out, Mr. Chairman, that generally you grandfather them in. However, given this one and where it's at, it would be my opinion, I think this board should be recommending that we insist on an IA system at this point.
Can I jump in real quick?
Was the
Tim, you
building permit is from 2019? Was that still valid for this
No,
determination way back then?
it's been updated. It's been updated. The determination was in November 26, 1986. I think
Right.
There is an NRSP. Tyler, maybe you can shed some light on this. There was this NRSP also for 1995. Do you know the difference between the two?
95 is what they're requesting a CO for now. That's the work, the addition to the house.
But
The
the
95 determination referenced back to the 86 determination, which required the sanitary upgrade.
Very good.
And just to note that they will be required to do an IA sanitary system. The only grandfathering in of like existing or old style systems is if you had a Suffolk County Health Department approval prior to the law going into effect, which at this point wouldn't exist.
I agree with that. I agree
So
with that.
it would be a requirement whether the board made them to or not. It's simply a requirement of town code.
I agree with that. I think you're absolutely right. So it's going to trigger health department, which health department is going to stipulate IA system
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah, and the building department would make sure as well.
Yep. Thank you. Tim?
Yeah, thank you. This is actually in my Amagansett district. So I had a conversation with Brian Frank earlier in the week. And I just wanted to draw the board's attention to the last paragraph of the memo that we received, because there's also an indication here that, not that one, but the memo we received from the planning
Right.
department dated February 14. And that last paragraph indicates that there's some indication that there's plans for a new project being drawn up, and there's inclusion of septic in those new plans. And I just wanted to point out that this board has a history with regard to properties coming into compliance prior to any additional projects. From my perspective, the idea of trying to take something that was required 28 years ago and moving it into a new project in 2022 would be a complete non-starter to me. So, I'm in agreement with everything that we've already talked about, but I additionally wanted to point that out because it concerns me that this is the way this thing seems to be progressing.
Okay, I agree. I think there is a clear condition of a pre-existing determination that has to be met. Denise?
I agree with everything everyone has said.
Thank you. So therefore, what is our motion what is our action at this time? Let me just see. Tyler, this is an administrate? What is it? What are we looking for?
This was a CO inspection. So if the board is so inclined, I guess we would write up a memo, or the board could have a memo written up for them, just stating that at this time they're not ready for a certificate of occupancy. They need to upgrade the sanitary system.
Great. Okay. Thank you. All right. Next case is John Somoza at 1 Rose Hill Road, East Hampton, Suffolk Tax Map number 300-134-01-6.21. A possible administrative hearing to reconstruct in-kind illegally existing pool deck within 150 foot of freshwater wetlands. I believe this is Alanis.
Yes, So the survey shared on here. So this is the pool deck. The applicant, I believe, got a stop work order. He was reconstructing it. He was in the middle of reconstructing it without permits. So now he's in front of us to get a natural resources special permit. It is in place in kind. It's a pool deck here, and then this multi-level deck here.
Thank you. I mean, I reviewed this, this is in my district. I reviewed this zoning board, and I don't have a problem with it going administratively. Does anybody else have any comments?
I don't have a problem with it either.
Yeah,
Everybody okay with it?
I'm fine with it.
yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay, therefore, I think I'll make a motion for John Somoza at 1 Rose Hill Road, East Hampton, Suffolk Tax Map Number 300-134-01-6.21, to approve the application to proceed administratively.
I'll second.
I'll concur.
I'll concur.
I concur.
Thank you. Our next one, possible administrative hearing is from James Walsh, 239 East Lake Drive, Montauk, Suffolk, tax map number 300-13-3-32. And the description is to construct a 608 square foot swimming pool, pool fence, pool equipment, a 1,185 square foot pool patio, a 64 square foot spa, and an indoor shower on a parcel of land containing tidal wetlands and a bluff. I believe this is Eleni also?
Yes, so the survey on screen here shows, yep, pool patio, the spa is here, outdoor shower, and the pool equipment, and the pool fence as well. Everything is more than 100 feet from the wetlands, and it is a 75-foot bluff setback here, so it meets those requirements. An NRSP is required for this. If the board has any questions.
Where's the house?
Terry?
The house.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, my glasses aren't the best here. Okay. So this is toward the lake from the house.
Yes, it is. It is. The Lake Montauk is down here.
No, I think I'm leaning toward having a hearing on that for that reason. The scenic conservation easement, Eleni, is that already in existence or are they offering it?
It is in existence already.
In existence already. Okay.
Eleni, my question would be, dealing with the lakefront, especially swimming pools in Montauk, we're very cautious about moving forward with swimming pools in particular. What makes this application any more worthy of going administratively rather than by having a hearing?
It is pushed back. It is meeting the setbacks. There is also the conservation easement there, and it is kind of up. You can see the topography. It's going to be up here, whereas the lake is, further down. It's something that it's up to the board. If you don't feel comfortable with it, you can absolutely move forward with a hearing. We just figured we'd bring it forward.
What about,
Let me add this.
Go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Terry. Denise, go
That
ahead.
was Denise.
The only thing I noticed was this is in an HPOD district, correct, Eleni?
Mhm.
Yes.
And they're very close to maxing out on their clearing. I mean, the current clearing is 9,800 square feet and the permitted is 10,000, according to the survey I got. So that was the only thing I kind of looked at. I do agree with Member Berger that, this seems to be a good candidate for a public hearing. I mean, everything else, they seem to be, in the bottom, the clearing permitted is 10 and existing is 9,895. So that's pretty close.
Eleni, has
And
there
it
been-
might need additional scrutiny.
Sorry. Eleni, has there been any discussion of a revegetation plan for this area that's between the the pool and the lakefront?
There has not, the applicant hasn't offered that. That is something that we could bring up to the applicant and see if they'd be willing to do that. That'd be something the planning department would like to see.
On the survey, what is the extent of the scenic easement?
So the easement comes just right here.
Oh, I see that line. Okay, thank you. What if we requested an additional buffer up to the proposed wire fence?
That's something that I could bring up to the applicant and see if they would be willing to do that.
We have to poll the other board members as well. That's just my suggestion. I think that it seems like the pool, everything is out of jurisdiction. Is that correct? Or beyond?
Beyond the need for a variance. It's
So if we
within
can get
jurisdiction.
if we can get some further mitigation, we can possibly go administratively. I don't know, board members, what do you see a thought?
I'd like to say, Mr. Chair, that I visited the site, and that was exactly my idea, wondering whether or not the easement line could be drawn up closer to the pool, as you suggest, along the line. And then there's a very substantial buffer between the developed area and as was pointed out by Member Savory, something that is getting right towards the maximum allowable coverage. And we get some reasonable amount of area there that we could count on would be a protection for the lake. So I would be in favor of having a discussion along those lines that you've already suggested, that we go back to the client, the applicant, and see how favorably they look on moving the easement line up and submitting a revegetation plan for the whole area.
Right, thank you. Terry, what's your thought on that?
That's a nice idea, but I think I still want to hear it.
Okay, and Tim?
It's NRSP and we're trying to protect the lake here. I do think the increase of the easement is a significant mitigation. I also think that the patio and pool are pushed back perhaps farther and could be tightened up a little bit to better address the concerns around the NRSP. So I think I agree with Member Berger about taking this to hearing. I think it would be good to have a full conversation about this.
Great. And Denise, I would assume you would agree with that as well.
I am in agreement with Member Berger. Yes.
Thank you. So Eleni, will you go back to the applicant and talk to them about these issues?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we have to make a motion to deny the admin?
No, I think it needs to come back to us, right?
Well, I'm voting for it to go to public hearing.
Yeah, me too.
Right. Are we denying, then do we deny the administrative?
I think that's what we've done in the past, right? If we
Yeah,
want to do
if
it.
you don't go admin, you have the public hearing.
Okay. Who wants to make the motion then for James Walsh?
Well, I guess I will, since that's what I wanted. So in the matter of James Walsh at 239 East Lake Drive in Montauk, tax map 300-13-3-32, I make a motion to deny the administrative project and to bring this to a public hearing.
I'll second.
I concur.
I'll concur.
I concur as well. Thank you. Our next one is Virginia Spinelli at 45 Ditch Plains Road in Montauk, Suffolk tax map number 300-32-5-13. And so motion is needed for a modification of existing NRSP and variances which were granted for the demolition and construction of a new residence and associated structures. The modification is requesting to change the roof line, increasing the pyramid variances and gross floor area. This is in Montauk. Who's handling this? This is Tyler?
That's me, yes. I'll be handling the rest for tonight. So this was in front of the board not too long ago. You can see fairly well on the included diagram on the building plans, the existing, what was approved by the board, which shows the 4-foot pyramid nonconformity versus what they're proposing now, which is 6 feet 2 inches at its highest point along each side of the property line. The house is essentially, centered on the lot. It's also because of the change in the roof line, increasing the gross floor area slightly from 1,553 square feet to 1,621 square feet. Generally, the board or increases in nonconformity, the board has not done via modification and generally does them versus as a public hearing, especially when it increases pyramid nonconformity. That's generally something you want neighbors to have input on. While the footprint of the building isn't changing, the parcel is very thin, and the previous approval appeared to be minimizing those pyramid nonconformities to better meet the variance standards. So increasing those nonconformities may not meet the variance standards anymore, since it was shown that they could be smaller. It is worth noting that roof height is getting lower overall. The max height was 29 feet, now it's 25 and a half feet. And that volume of pyramid area outside of the pyramid line is decreasing.
Did you say that's decreasing?
Yes, the total volume outside the pyramid line is decreasing.
That was going to be my question, Tyler. Thanks.
Yes. Yeah, they give the numbers. 99 square feet violation in a pyramid on the old one, and it's so it's 89 square feet versus 99 previously. So, decrease about 10 square feet versus the whole length of that building, which would obviously, then make your cubic foot number. So generally speaking, the board has increases in nonconformity be public hearings. Granted, there are public hearings with modifications now, so maybe that's sufficient for the board. But so that's what the application's for. It's a modification to increase the nonconformity of the pyramid nonconformity and increase the size of the gross floor area of the house slightly, while keep maintaining the same footprint.
All right. My question is, couldn't there be an argument that it's decreasing the nonconformity a little bit if it's decreasing the volume? I'm not sure.
You could make that argument. The way the pyramid nonconformity is measured in the town is the greatest height. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, you could. It's increasing in the way that we measure and notice for a pyramid nonconformity.
Overall,
if you increased that height even more and then decrease the size of the house, then you'd be decreasing the volume as well, theoretically. So you can make that argument in a number of ways. But
yeah, I'm wondering if the nexus could be the decrease in volume, but maybe we'll have a discussion of the board. Montauk, who wants to take this?
Well, I view it as it is increasing the nonconformity on it. It was a recent determination, a recent approval. But it was, it wasn't a slam dunk on the original determination, not for myself anyway. And I think just making this a little bit more, I'm not really in favor of the modification.
Okay. Ed?
Yeah, I'm in line with Terry's thinking here. This is a very narrow lot. This is a constrained site. We had discussion about it initially, and I just don't think it makes sense for us to be thinking about increasing a nonconformity, and particularly here where this very, very narrow lot has an effect on houses that are close on both sides. I think it's worthy of a hearing.
Thank you. Tim?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the change is de minimis, personally. But I think what's compelling to me is the idea, and Tyler said it, that typically when you're changing something like this, you want the neighbors to weigh in. And so personally, it doesn't seem like an impactful thing to me, but I think as a board, we would be wise to allow the neighbors the opportunity, should they view it differently, to weigh in on this.
Well,
Thank you.
what are we asking for here? If we're saying we're denying the modification, there's no
It has to
hearing.
go to hearing. We're saying it has to go to hearing, Terry.
Not participate, are expecting one project and now they have a completely different thing. So I don't think it would hurt us to, continue the process and let the neighbors participate.
Thank you. I also agree. I think that pyramid variances are something that have to be scrutinized for the neighbors. Tim, I think you're right. Denise, I think you're all right. So therefore, we would like to make, Terry, would you like to make a motion?
Well, wait a minute now. The way we had been handling modifications after there was a determination was if we didn't feel that the modification was justified, we
Is to go
didn't
to
have a
hearing.
hearing. Are
So
we
maybe there's
changing
no
that?
motion, maybe there's no motion to be had here. Is there?
You mean you just deny the modifications?
Yeah.
The motion normally would be to reopen the public hearing, but if the board doesn't want to reopen the public hearing, and then I don't think there's anything to be done.
Well, is that is that how modifications were handled, Tyler?
That's how we were doing them.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a reopening of the public hearing is the way they were being done most recently.
But a reopening of a public hearing doesn't require a notice. Is that
It
correct?
does, yes, it does need a notice.
Okay.
This is something relatively new since I
I know.
left.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
to get this.
it
We
is.
talked about
It is.
this because in the past, we just denied the modification. And if the applicant wanted to go forward and submit a new application, they were free to do that.
Right. And that is
That's how it
basically
used to
the
be.
way we were handling it. Our previous attorney, we didn't make a motion for a rehearing if we didn't want to approve the modification, or not approve it, but rehear it.
And I believe a reopening of the public hearing requires full 5-0 vote by the board. So if there's no support, then it just would need to be a new application.
So is the option on the table to just deny the modification?
Yes.
I believe it's our only option is either to deny it or to approve it, right?
But if we
Well, not
deny it,
approve it.
we don't have to go forward with a public hearing, correct?
Correct.
They would have to come back to us
With a new application?
new application, then we would have a public hearing.
Or Tyler
Well,
is saying,
that's okay.
Tyler is saying the other option would be to reopen in the hearing. When was this hearing, Tyler?
The original,
It was last summer. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm remembering it, but I just,
If that's the option, I would vote to do that, to allow them to come back and allow them to post it, and allow neighbors to comment and to have a conversation about it.
it's
I agree.
2021.
I don't know if we want to make this onerous.
Yeah,
Well, it is increasing a nonconformity.
We agree. But we're all, we have to continue a hearing on it. And Tyler, you are saying neighbors would be noticed.
Correct. They have to be. It's just like a normal notice period for any other public hearing. It's just a reopening of the old public hearing in order to have another hearing for it.
I would vote to do that.
Reopen the hearing.
Yeah.
I agree. Anybody else have any feelings on that? I mean,
I
think-
think it's a big enough change, increasing the nonconformity, and it should just be denied. Have to put in another application.
okay. Ed?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
with this hearing was not very long ago, and they made proposals. The board carefully considered them. They were approved under certain stipulations, and now they're back looking for a modification, hoping that we're going to approve a modification. To me, they've had a time period, they had their day in front of us here, and they made their presentations and they were approved. At this point, I'm certainly in favor of denying the modification. I hope that if we were to decide to open for them, it's not a mechanism that others would think can be easily used to have your entire application reviewed again. I'm not so sure that anything here happened other than them simply making the choice that they want to make a little change to their architecture. And I don't know. To me, I'm not sure that it makes sense to open a hearing. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. Terry? I mean, Denise?
I tend to agree. I mean, I believe that what member Johan just said is, I agree with, because they did have their opportunity. The board made a determination that's been filed. They're coming back to us with an increase, which usually in the past was always denied. So I believe if we deny this modification tonight, it's in their court as to how they go forward. And it can be their choice to go to a public hearing. But I believe tonight, I'm in favor of just denying the modification.
Okay. Let's proceed with the motion. Harry?
We need a motion for that, okay.
Yeah.
All right, in the matter of Virginia Spinelli at 45 Ditch Plains Road, Montauk, tax map 300-032-05-13, make a motion to deny the request for the modification of the existing determination.
I'll second it.
I concur.
I mean, I don't disagree with denying it. It was just, I thought we could take it, take a look at it. So I'm not sure exactly, what my vote should be on this. I guess it doesn't matter because a 3-2 vote carries it anyway. So I'll vote nay on this.
I'm going to go with Tim. I'm going to vote nay as well. All right. Motion is denied. Thank you.
Modification's denied.
Modification is denied. We'll move on to extensions of time. And we have Deborah Ahern at 124 Monroe Drive at Montauk, Suffolk tax map number 300-70-2-18. Description is to remove a portion of non-conforming pool and patio to allow a portion of swimming pool to remain within southern rear lot line setbacks and to allow an existing slate patio to remain within both southern and eastern rear yard setbacks. Who's handling this?
I'll be handling the next two.
Okay.
So this was a 2015 approval by the board. It looks okay for an extension of time. They'll probably need an updated survey to accurately reflect some information that's in the field but not in the survey prior to a CO, but that doesn't exempt them from getting an extension of time on this one.
Montauk again? Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with the extension of time on this one.
Yeah, I am as well, Mr. Chair. I'm fine with it.
Thank you. Board members?
That's fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good with it as well. So that doesn't require a motion. We'll make the motion when they write it up, I believe.
Is that how it
Donald,
works? Yeah, okay.
Donald Hood at 41 Molina Drive, East Hampton, Suffolk tax map number 300-35-4-12. The description is an EOT to complete construction and satisfy conditions. Who's this, Tyler or
Yes.
Or?
Yep, it's me
Okay,
again.
Tyler.
So this was an NRSP for additions, which appear to have been completed. The only issue is that it looks like the stairs to the beach are either in the process of or have been completed by this point of reconstructing them, which would need a natural resources special permit. But that can be addressed prior to a CO. It doesn't exempt them from getting a certificate from getting an extension of time at this point. So the project in general, we're okay with it getting an extension of time, but they will need to address the reconstruction of the stairs, which is fairly minor.
All right. Thank you, Tyler. This is in my district, so I would agree with this. Tim?
Yeah, same here. I'm comfortable.
Barry?
Yes, I'm okay.
Ed?
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Denise?
I concur. I'm fine.
All right. Thank you. Wow. One of the fastest meetings on record here.
I think it is.
Um,
I said a half hour.
We have minutes approval. Terry, have you,
Yes, I
March
did.
1st?
I did review the minutes for March 1st. They look good to me, so I will make a motion to approve the minutes for March 1st, 2022 for the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals.
Great. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'll
I concur.
I concur as well. Thank you. I think, Nancy, we made your night very easy.
Thank
For joining us. We enjoyed having you.
It's a pleasure.
Go back and tell Jen good things about us.
Definitely.
Vice Chair, would you care to make an adjournment?
Yes, I would. I'd like to make a motion to close the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals work session for March 8th, 2022 at 7:08 p.m.
I'll second that one.
I'll concur.
Concur.
I concur as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Enjoy the rest of your
Good
evening.
night.